Welcome back. This is The Poet is a Human with the Philosopher Dunamis. On this week's episode number 15, Fight for Rest. Please be sure to hit that like button on your way in. And if you like us, consider subscribing to keep up with our episodes on YouTube and give us a follow on X.
And Fightcast is here to empower individuals to live healthier, master their finances, pursue their dreams, and inspire others through self-awareness and global impact. And this is for entertainment and educational purposes only, and not financial advice.
Dunamis, how are you?
Man, it's been a great week. I got a lot of rest. I can't wait to talk about this because, yeah, man, I got a chance to get out of town and reset a little bit because I absolutely needed it. I feel like I was running on fumes, but I feel so much better now. How do you feel?
I am resting currently. I'm on a recliner with the fan on. So if you hear some fan in the background, audience, that is a fan. I'm with my dog. If you hear a voice talking in the back, it is a clock that speaks, I want to say every 15 minutes, and it gives you a verse in the Bible. It's pretty encouraging, but the voice itself is a little creepy. But oh no, I received the message regardless. But I'm resting. I've been here down south, Mississippi, for a few days now, and I've been able to slow down.
Oh
Been able
man,
to slow down and look and hear, just observe, absorb. It's been fantastic.
well that sounds amazing, man. So tell me a little bit about your trip and what it's all about. Like when did you leave? What kind of stuff have you seen and done so far in Mississippi?
So left on Friday, got here Friday. It was funny because the plane left at 5:57, and with the time change of the states of the time zones, I ended up getting there at 5:57, which was like Twilight Zone all the way. And then we had our whole time switch everybody, and that didn't really throw me off so much. It was just more of a, okay, it's just another time change going on right now. But man, I haven't done anything really aside from help out around the house, be outside, smoke. Um, I don't even think enormous is the word because it really hasn't been enormous per se, but I've been able to indulge in a lot of lettuce.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's been really relaxing. I've been able to get back into working out a lot more. I've been able to do a lot more movement exercises where a lot of my stuff is stationary
Mm.
back at home. So I've been able to really adopt some of um, these ideas that I've had. I've been able to put them into fruition. Been doing a lot of incredible things. I've been meditating.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we've had some conversations too. Even it sounds kind of cool whenever I hear about what you're eating because it seems like you're really focused on your diet here recently too. And what I mean, what is that like? Are you making sort of incremental changes to sort of improve things in your life or
Yeah, man. Um, been making smoothies. I've been making like doing the green smoothies. Been doing
Mhm.
been doing intermittent fasting, and been wanting to trim, and I've been wanting to just wear my body out, man. I feel like my body's been wanting to go through this workout for a while and get back into that routine that I've been doing when I was in school. And it's working out has always been a big part of well-being for me. So, look good, feel good, play good, all that good stuff. And the meditating out of all of it, once you've put that work in, the meditation is the cherry on top. So I've been expanding meditation a little bit longer each time. I started off with, I would say, 15 minutes. Then we went 30 minutes. And the most recent one today went for like half hour, 40 minutes or so.
Wow.
And meditating it's very much you have to shut everything off in your mind. And it's the thinking about nothing, or the that conversation that you have in your head where you start to discover what that voice is, and you ask questions. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You and I know that sounds a little crazy to say, but I was actually watching a video about it. But the voice that you have in your head that everybody thinks is like, no, you can't do that, or you're restricted. Like, that's not actually the voice that's in your head. So you're gonna have to follow along with me on that one. But because if that were the voice in your head, then why wouldn't the voice in your head be positive?
Hmm.
So it's been a lot of self-reflection. Definitely been a lot of just letting go, and then I've had a lot of spiritual things happen. Just seeing things in nature, waking up at certain times. Woke up this morning at 4:44, which
Wow.
was
Interesting number.
yeah, it was really interesting. And I had a recent project out, and one of the tracks on there was 444, which I thought was really really interesting. And my pawpaw has a notebook that he journals in, and I've also been journaling as well. Um, I've been able to do 3 pages and stuff like that. Um, yeah,
With everything that's going on in the world right now, because I think about, we're in this place, and we always sort of touch on what's going on geopolitically and in the world. But I feel like we've sort of hit this point where there's this sort of tension, and it maybe makes sense that we're doing this episode right at this point in time, because maybe right now it makes the most sense to sort of take a step back. Like, there's been so much news in terms of politics, and we had the election, and we had all this other stuff, and there's a part of me that just says, like, I want to shut my brain off for the next few months and let Trump do his thing and see what happens, and like not stress about it too much. But um that's kind of where I'm at, I think, is sort of like taking a few months to focus on me and not worry about stuff that I normally can't control anyways. But what do you think about that in terms of what's going on in the world today?
I think it's important. I feel like it's something that we should have done a long time ago, or it's something that we should have been doing. Uh, I think now is a good time for us to accept the things that we can't change and change the things that we can accept. And really, the only thing that you can change is how you react to things and how you respond to things. I think the nicer we are to ourselves, the nicer we're going to be to people. We've been very much made aware that media is has a way of entertaining us, and so I think that we have to be
Hmm.
mindful of influences and those projections that are put upon us and the projections that we put on other people. We have to be able to think for ourselves. We have to be able to set all of those things to the side and not not say I don't care, but just understanding what we're caring for or we're not
Mhm.
caring for. Like I don't care for the entertainment. I don't care for the blase. I don't care for the nuance. I don't care for any of the ad libs. I care about truth. I care about having faith, hope, and I care about humanity. It's like now it's just a good time for people to really do a lot of self reflection and just be
Mhm.
nice to themselves. So that way they can be nicer to other people. Because there's really no telling them what's going to happen, really, in any day. And this is no different than any other time, other than
Mhm.
the fact that it's a different time. I mean, that's really the difference. There's still events that are happening, and there are still responses that are coming from that. And the more you can break those things down and simplify that, the more you realize that you're just introducing a narrative that is creating, I mean, unwanted emotion. Just it's redundant at this point. It's all recycled. Nothing's changing because we choose to continue to say, "Oh, well, it's crazy." Well, it's crazy because you call it crazy.
Yeah,
Nothing's new. Yeah.
there's, I think, some fear around what's been going on lately, and one of the things that we always talk about from Stoic philosophy, of course, is not being worried about things that you can't control. I would also add to that, things always seem worse than they really are. You know, there is some amount of, I think, fear and craziness that goes on, not only with Trump taking office, but even with Biden taking office. I would say the last time, if we were to sort of look back and say that, even as much as people would like to say the last 4 years was bad, from maybe their point of view, it it's always there's always this reflection that we see, which is more intense, I think, than reality, and whether that's magnified by the mainstream media or whatever. I just feel like, in my experience, and I know I'm not, I'm about to be 46. I know I'm not the oldest and wisest person out there necessarily, but I would say that in my years and what I've experienced, things always seem to be a lot scarier than they actually are. you know.
Yeah, man. And as a kid, everything is so much bigger. And then when you get older, you see how much like they weren't.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't discredit yourself. You're wiser than who you were before. But there are obviously people out there with more experience than you. It's like me.
Mhm.
And we can all learn from everybody. And I think I've said this before, and I always mess up. I always mess this adage up, but it's just something like a wise man learns from another man's mistakes, so he doesn't make the same mistakes as that man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I've never been that wise. We'll put it that way. I
Uh-huh.
uh, I tend to read about mistakes, try and learn from the mistakes, but I tell you what, I repeat mistakes. I repeat the same mistakes that I read about. I mean, I think that's what we all do. We test the limits, and we understand that there are consequences, like there's cause and effect and all of this other stuff. But just like a toddler, we have to push the limits and see what really happens. And we all do that to some extent, I think.
There was this thing, and I don't know how true it is. I want to get your input on it. But it was a meme, and I might be messing this up, but it said something along the lines of if you think that like if you hate yourself or something like that, if you're feeling depressed, like you feel like you don't like you, then go to sleep or go lay down. And then if if you mean to people, maybe you should eat some food. If you're feeling down, really, I don't want to say the worst thing that you can do because I don't like the word worst in this context. The one thing that you don't want to do or what you want to try to avoid is running away. And it's
Oh
really
yeah.
easy. It's really easy for us to find scapegoats. It's easy for us to get distracted in everything that has nothing to do with our lives. But the more confident you are in just asking those questions of why you feel the way that you feel and understanding why you feel the way that you feel, and then realizing that it's okay to feel the way that you're feeling. That's the thing. We were having a conversation about this group, the group, the guys,
Hmm.
and just even normalizing saying that you love each other. And that is seems like such odd behavior because it's been made taboo for such a long time and it just has all of these preconceived notions to it. And it's just like, all right, dude, shut the F up. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Um, but again, all of those things factor. All of those things factor.
I think that what a lot of we've been talking about, and so some of what you're touching on are topics that we've touched on in the after space, in the react, in the fight night react space afterwards. And I do think they're important and I do think they're pertinent for the discussion tonight. There is so much as a man that we are, you know, required, I guess, there's this mask, there's this facade that we're required to keep up in order to function in society as a normal heterosexual man in the United States, right? So that I only say that to say that yes, there are a whole lot of difficulties that come along with that. A lot of that has to do with I've read I've read about this recently about the idea that men over 40 have difficulty finding friends and so forth. And being a man over 40, I'd say they probably picked the wrong generation because we're Gen X and we don't give a fuck about people anyway. So, but yeah, I won't say that we don't give a fuck about people. It's just that we're used to kind of like we've we've grown up. Like I grew up in a completely different kind of a situation, I think, than people grow up in today. And so I don't feel like I have any difficulty making friends, but I only make friends with people that I want to be friends with. And so I also don't feel the need to be friends with everybody, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
all of that is to say that when it comes to rest, and this to bring it all back around is to say that as men, I think that we need to find our rest in just accepting who we are and being cool with that. And there's so much that society puts on our shoulders. Same with women. I mean, there's not nobody has it easy. There is not a single person that gets born into this world that has an easy path. But I would say that as a man specifically, there's so much there are there's responsibility and there's so much expectation that is automatically placed upon our shoulders, and along with that expectations there are societal norms that make certain things difficult just in terms of making friends, and there's so much about society that has made regular friendship between males difficult, and so yeah, I'll just say that. But despite all of that, I think that we're in a place today where to find real rest is to let things go, to not worry about. You can't worry about all that stuff. Like when you take all of that on, that's what gives us anxiety. That's what gives us all of these problems and issues that we deal with today. And so much is just about letting go. I just want to get back to where you were talking about meditation and just say that I think that's a key factor in all of this, and that you can integrate those things. Like, you can feel the feelings. Meditation is that place where you can sit still and you allow the feeling to come and pass and go. And I think there's so many men nowadays that just don't meditate, don't pray, don't spend the time that they need to spend on the spiritual aspects that are important. And society suffers as a whole when we don't do that. And so it's important for us as men to take a step back, to get away, to not just be dragged into the everyday hustle and bustle of life and lose sight of what's really, really important, because we do need the rest. We need the time to reflect and to think, because we're not ever going to become better as men unless we take that time, right?
Yeah, and literally, you have to be able to rest your eyes, be able to shut the world off, be able to take the 6 to 8 hours and really shut the mind off. Thinking about nothing is a lot harder than people think, and just not being phased. I don't think that there's really a surprise that society can bring that hasn't happened already, and it hasn't happened to us. Well, it's happened, right? So you have to be able to shut your mind off, and you have to be able to wake up with that fresh mind. Of course, I say wake up like we're allowed, like we dictate that, right? Um, we don't. um, I'm over here like we don't. How do you know? Fight me. That's what all I have to say. Fight me. I'm resting right now. Oh man.
This has been a great week to
Yeah.
rest for me.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like you said, you're still continuing to rest. I think that, I don't know if again, I don't know if it's just something where this just got synced or it's just the time of year. I feel like for me, having this last week to really rest and regenerate and strategize, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I had a chance to really think for a full week, and now I got back. I sent you some pictures of work that I had done in our garden, but I was out there today. I set up permaculture beds. I was planting tomatoes and jalapenos and pepper plants and all kinds of stuff. And the crazy thing about that kind of work, which again, to bring it back around to rest, was like I drank more water today than I think I have probably in the past 6 months in
Very
a single
nice.
day. And the feeling when I finished the work, when I had 3 garden beds that were prepped and ready to go, I had them soaked. The seeds will hopefully germinate and produce great food for us this year, and all of that. But I just was able to sit down and drink my third glass of water and just soak in and take a deep breath. And I feel like that sitting down and resting after a hard days of work, you know, is completely different. Like, that rest feels so good when you know you've completed something all the way, and you're done and you're sitting and you're resting and you're basking in it. I had a little bit of that today, and so I just had to share that because
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, you guys can definitely tell that we've we've been on vacation. We're on vacation. This is a very laid back fight. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you guys and act like you know I'm here to give you the full on breakdown. But man, this we're living what we're talking about right now. And I had cabin fever. I've been recording nonstop, and make sure that you guys listen to that Is He Human on all streaming platforms. Going
Heck
Rogue and
yeah.
Full Moon Chronicles. Yes, sir. We got produced by Rico and produced by DJ Def Lord. So, anyways, enough of the promo talk. But I had just finished recording these two albums and went on recording after that and really working on social media, and I love where I live at home, and it's also very beautiful there too. Has incredible scene. It was time for a new scene, and miss my grandma. Wanted to be down here because anytime I come down to Mississippi, it's always a reset button for me, and everything just slows down. And that's what I really appreciate about it. I've been able to set my phone inside. I've been able to walk out there, get the workout in. I don't follow any specific workout guide because I don't want to have my phone. I don't want to have to look at it. I don't listen to music. I just listen to the sound of nature. And there's nothing more incredible than that, man. And the fact that just I was able to get here earlier was the topping on it. And that was really, really dope. And yeah, I look forward to getting back home. I look forward to getting back into the studio, getting back into the swing. It's definitely been remote work, and shout out to the guys over there who've been holding it down. I've been popping in as much as I can, and I think everybody needed some time because it's also been character building down here as well. Because it's that self reflection of now that you have this time, what are you looking at exactly? What's your perspective? What's your scope? So a lot of self reflection for sure. It's yeah, it's been pretty enlightening. And diets help, the fasting and all that too. It builds a different type of mentality, man. So yeah, it's been a multitude of things. It's always layers to it, right?
Hmm. Well, I've been reflecting a lot too this last week, and I know some people that will probably listen may not be aware of the fact that you and I do, other than having a weekly podcast, we do discuss things on a daily basis too. And so, yeah, I've kind of already let you know, but just I've been reflecting on what I do as a career, you know, and you know that I'm a software engineer and whatnot. It just doesn't it has not brought the same joy as it has to me in the past. And so maybe this is a transitional period of my life, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's setting up a transitional period of my life. Yeah, taking the time to rest is also sometimes taking the time to reflect, because you can always put a fork in your road. If you're not going the direction that you want to in your life, there's sometimes we spend so much time on a day-to-day basis working our jobs and doing all of our stuff that we don't really sit back and take the time to decide if this is really what we want. I know so many other people out there don't even feel like they have a say, you know, but we do. And that's really the empowering thought, is knowing that if you take the time to sit and visualize what you want out of this life, you can make it happen.
Hmm. Words are very powerful, very strong. They're everything. They're everything, man. And
Oh
the
yeah.
more you simplify and you define these words and you understand what they mean, then I'm telling you, you're gonna go a really long way with it. You're going a long, long way with it for sure. You know, because I was listening to this. I was on this space with Gimbal Labs, and it was it was a dev space. And you know me, I'm a dev, right? And I have some knowledge of just, I understand how to just break it down, right? Like, don't talk to, talk to freaking man's over here, talk to the philosopher. Do you want to know more about that? Or am I the philosopher? Damn it, got me again. But anyways, no, I'm the poet. Yeah, you talk to philosopher about that. But being able to just like break it down. But there was a part where I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to branch off here soon. And then that voice in my head was like, here's how we're gonna do this. And then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, that makes great sense. But it was so nice, right? It was, and that's how I knew. I was like, all right, that's not that voice in your head that's like, you don't understand what they're saying. I don't know why you're even in here right now. It was just more of a, all right, we got to get this wrapped up. Got to get off here at 10:45. Got to get on to another space. Got to do this. Got to do that, and get it done. And then follow the course. It was like, uh, then I was like, all right, cool. And followed
When
it for the
you
rest of the day.
when you're talking about that discouraging voice in your head, I've spent a lot of time in the last few months thinking about this very subject regarding myself, and basically the conclusions that I seem to kind of come back around to is that I think God speaks to us in our gut. Like, you get this quiet idea implanted into your heart. And whatever this is, it's a pure, innocent idea, whatever this is. And this gets put down into your heart, into your gut from God. And I feel like that discouraging voice is what we do ourselves to talk ourselves out of God's plan. Eh,
I like that. Yeah, absolutely, bro. I feel that because, again, if that were the voice in your head, then why wouldn't it talk nice?
yes.
That doesn't make sense for it to just be this negative thing. That's a projection. Those are the nuances of the world. That is just everything that's just like, nah, no way, no way, no way, no way. That's all you hear is no way, no way. But on the other end, you got that one voice that's just like, what? Why not?
And what
Do
if?
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
what if? Or just post that. Post that video. Do this, say that, whatever. Like, be mindful. Be Yeah. Listen to your head.
this is this is great. And we would be remiss if, I mean, this is such a laid back conversation, and I feel like this can continue in the same way because it's been a great time of reflection and self honesty. That's something that you kind of get out of rest a lot of times. What was it that you were saying here not too long ago about too much rest, or that along those that concept?
Yeah. I was saying that I was watching this video, and it was giving me like these, just like these three forms of procrastination, and that it was associating like ancient names to it. But in short, it was saying that too much rest can also be non-product, like non-productive, because you get to a point where you've rested, but then you just stay and you don't move, you don't do anything. It's almost like paralysis, and then you end up doing nothing at all. So being able to find that balance and knowing when to push that envelope and just being able to listen to your body, and your body is going to tell you when you need to rest, because your mind may want to, well, heck, even that. your mind will tell you when your body's telling you that you need to rest. Truth be told, because I can't really think of a time where my mind's like, "Oh no, keep going, keep going," but my body's like, "Nah, dude, you can't even type right now." you know,
Yeah.
so there's that. There is that element where, oh man, I need that. You wake up and you feel refreshed and you do everything. Um, and then there are other times where you're like, nah, I gotta, get that part done, or, you get to a certain part and you're going, and then you just stop abruptly and you're like, I'll get to the rest tomorrow. Like, oh no, you're not going anywhere. You got to get that done. So it takes somebody with a conscious mind, I feel like, to understand that difference, because that is a fine line. It's definitely blurred lines for sure, and we've all pushed that envelope before. But I think that we push those envelopes because they were meant to be pushed, right? Because everyone's like, man, I don't really know this, I don't really know that. Okay, well, if you're telling me that you had that thought in your head and you went for it every time, then guess what? You were supposed to go for it
Hmm.
because you did. I mean, it's it's pretty simple. It's like, I don't want to argue with you on it. You know what I mean? It's just, that's just what it is. Like, because you were meant to go for it, so you did it, and then it's done. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done it. Otherwise, your body wouldn't have let you do it, and it would have been a completely different story. You would have been like, I went to do it, and then my body's like, nope, and you went to bed and you came right back to it. So, you know what I mean? Like, bro, there's only two ways this conversation could go.
Yeah. I've thought, as we decided what the subject was going to be this week, I gave some thought this week around the idea of, you know, rest versus being at rest. Like, being at rest versus the noun, or I'm sorry, the verb, the versus the verb to rest, right? And so where you talk about how, like, you might be in a situation where you're getting too much rest, a good thing to look at would be like, are you currently at rest? Have you even started yet, right? Are you still just not even starting your journey yet? If that's the case, then you're getting too much rest, right? But if you've been chugging along in a direction and you're tired, then it's time to take rest, right? It's okay to rest, but rest shouldn't be an excuse to not start your journey.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree, man. And if you guys are on a trip or you guys are just relaxing, I mean, you should definitely just be relaxing while you listen to this one. Again, this is so laid back. This is so throwback, y'all. I mean, we just threw on some records and just played some Earth, Wind, and Fire and just went on and on with it, you know?
It's like the old fashioned of fight casts. This one
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of feels like Pilot, but we just sound a lot more polished with it.
Yeah, a little more polished. We've got, what, 15 episodes under us, but
Oh, yeah.
this is not the strict nitty-gritty, like, asking questions kind of episode for sure.
No, not at all. And I think you guys all in all know, well, at least I would like to think, you got to know yourself, and I really feel like that's the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway out of all of this is continuing to know yourself. And we've talked about that so many times in all of these episodes of, and that's where it all ties back into. And when you start to really listen to these podcasts and you go back and you listen to it and you find the common denominator, that's when it's really going to click. This is going to be stuff that's going to be going on beyond us. And that was our aim for this when we started this. And I feel that rest is a really important factor into this. And I also feel like this is a good medium point, too. Episode 15, I feel like, when we get to 30, whew, super dope, and I'm really excited for it. But I feel like 15 and rest, it's almost like it's a pretty coincidental intermission with this
It
episode.
it is. I hadn't considered the numerology of any of this, and that's one of the interesting things, because I feel like some of that might creep into what we do just because of synchronicities and the way the universe works. But um, yeah, 15 is an interesting number, and it is halfway to 30. And it definitely feels like we've done a lot to be very consistent in this podcast so far. I feel like we've put a lot of effort in and a lot of thought into all of the subjects that we've talked about. And it definitely feels like a period in time, at least for me, right? Like this is we're heading into get real serious time for me, where we're talking about eating straight red meat and doing push-ups and working out in the garden and just doing whatever it takes to get stuff done. And that's what it feels like to me, is this year is a significant year. It's not a year to mess around with anymore. And so this sort of spring break rest for me was very much a recharge. And man, I feel so ready for the summer. I feel so ready to take the world on right now. Um, and so, yeah, yeah, I feel great. I hope that as you're still resting, that you wait till you get to that point where you feel absolutely great too, and then you turn the rest off and you turn the afterburners on and you let the world see what it is you can do. Because like that's what the rest is for. It's to eventually get to that point where you can just like turn it on again full speed.
Yeah, I can't wait till I hit that switch. I've been able to flip those switches while I've been here. The ultimate, I guess you'll really see those results when when you get back or, whatever. But I guess you don't really have to be somewhere else for those results to be seen. It's just more of the repetition and the knowing that that's what you're doing. It doesn't matter where you go. But yeah, I definitely feel like work's not done yet. There's definitely got a lot more working out to do. Got a lot more meditating to do. I got a lot more good weather to enjoy. I'm extremely dark right now. I'm really, really dark. My face is red, and I look incredible. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's going to be a little interesting to get back to Ohio and just be like this way, knowing that the sun in Ohio wouldn't have been able to do this. These are numbers I've never seen before, unlike anything I've ever seen. They're absolutely remarkable. It's like he's dark, dark.
the I we won't go down the rabbit hole that I went down here recently with melanin in skin, but just to say that it is a conspiracy theory regarding melanin and the ability to resist the government's mind control. So I've spent a lot of time out in the sun here recently without sunscreen. And yeah, well, the sun is good for you. We'll just put it that way.
It is. It's
I
very good for
get
you.
get the healing from the sun, that vitamin D, and yeah, it's good for your mental health, but it's also good for your. I mean, it's good to fight against colds and everything else. It's great for your immune system to get out in the sun every day as much as possible. It's a part of the rest, to to do that. So.
Agreed.
But yeah, so to bring it back around to rest, getting enough rest, but not getting too much rest. What should I guess it depends on everyone's individual situation, right? Like, if you're in a place in your life where you feel like you're stuck and you have not been moving at all, then rest is probably not the thing that you're looking for. But if you've been like some of us pushing and pushing and pushing and feeling like you're not necessarily seeing results. This market cycle has taken arguably an additional year over the last market cycle to really get going. So we've needed more patience, we've needed more effort, and we've needed to hang on longer than we had to the last time around. So with all of that, if you've been pushing and you're feeling burnt out, I mean, it's better to take a rest than to quit. You don't want to get in that place in your life where you're ready to quit.
Right. Yeah. And I think that for me personally, I feel like whenever I need to rest, lay there, my mind will just shut off. That's something that I feel like I've always been better. It's just being able to shut that mind off when it is time to rest. And even when the mind is uneasy, it might take a little bit more time to rest, but eventually the mind shuts off, right? Some people just unfortunately cannot shut that mind off. And yeah, um, practice makes perfect. Um, but then you get to a point where, and I know, like I have a woe is me, like those woe is me moments where I'm just laying in bed and you know that you're just going through all of these things that don't exist, that aren't you, that are just so, it's just foul at the point where, like, why are you even talking to yourself like that? But some people will just lay there and they'll let it happen. Other people, and I'm one of those people now, where that'll happen. I'm like, nope, dad, gotta go. And I can hear it in my head, boy, if you don't get your ass up right now, I quit. I'm like, all right, I'm up. All right, I'm good.
As somebody, and I have no problem stating this publicly, but as somebody who has personally struggled with depression and getting out of bed sometimes and some days, that is that can be a difficult thing to get over with. And rest and depression are two different things that can sometimes look the same. But I just want to say that since we went there, since I went there at least, I just want to say that that is a situation where it can help to force yourself to overcome in some regard. It's like forcing yourself to see the glass half full, forcing yourself to go and take that walk in the morning, forcing yourself to get up and like you said, um, get up and actually do something. It can help to overcome the feeling, just like when you that whole phrase, fake it till you make it. There's there's power in going through the steps. So getting out of bed, taking action, doing productive things in your life can help to turn around emotionally. At least it has for me. Turn around emotionally and make positive things that were potentially previously negative. That's been a big part of my recovery, has been getting out, getting my hands dirty, getting some dirt under my fingernails, you know, getting some sunlight. And all of that stuff is fantastic. But at the same time, you can't just push, 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 push all the time. So knowing when to take a break at the same time is important. Even if you're recovering and coming out of a point of depression and working towards something that's positive in your life, it's, yeah, something to keep an eye on. So,
I couldn't agree with you more. You're not gonna get a disagreement out of me on that one.
well, slick man, I think we've probably gotten to the end of the conversation. I think that Did you have any final thoughts kind of on rest or what's important about it before we sort of wrap things up?
Yeah, definitely. Um, Guys, just make sure that you're treating your body right. Make sure that you're nurturing it right. Make sure you're closing your eyes. Make sure that you're telling yourself that it is okay to just think about nothing. Think about a switch. This is the best way I can paint a picture for you. Think about an on and off switch, and think about the on switch and what that means. Think about the off switch and what that means. Make sure you're at least getting, 4 to 6. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I get 4 to 6 all the time, but I can tell you what happens when I don't. It's Gemini season. Um, yeah, and just always remember to talk kind to yourself. And if you're on vacation, enjoy your vacation. I'm enjoying mine. I really hope you enjoyed this this chill podcast.
Heck yeah, man. And we're going to do it again next week, or we're going to jump in that space right now, but we're going to jump into this again next week. And great conversation, Izzy. Love it as always. And let's talk again next week, man.
Yeah, and if you guys made it to the end, then make sure you hit us with that emoji. What emoji are we gonna have them do?
Let's drop a sunglasses emoji in the
Yeah.
comments this week, and be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube, as well as give us a follow on X. As always, Izzy, never give up the fight.
Never give up the fight.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test. Expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they're scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds, they can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss, just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they're scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains,